Oh my god, guys, don't tell my children that I watch Peppa Pig when they're in bed. Anyway, back again. You know how I like to do, Mr. Stuart. What up, what up, what up? Hey, shout out to Year 7 parents. Come on, my G. Anyway, I'm going to focus on the factors question. Okay, sticking with the theme of Peppa Pig, and yes, I am using my daughter's Etch-a-Sketch. Has the role of individual been the main factor in the development of medicine? Now, when it comes to a factors question, there's a few things that will change, but one thing that won't change will be the way that you structure your answer. So first of all, the first thing that will change will be the actual factor. So this bit that says has the role of individual could possibly change. Yeah. The other thing that could possibly change in the factors question will be this bit here. So the development of something. So it might be medicine, it could be public health, okay? It could be more specific, like antibiotics, okay? So those things are the things that are going to change depending on what factors question you get. Now, if you look here, our maximum marks for this question is 16 marks. So are we realistically going to be getting 16 marks? Very few people are. And are we realistically going to be hitting level 4? There are a few people that could hit level 4. So my focus is trying to get everybody here 9 marks, level 3, and at the higher end of level 2 on 8 marks. So for level 1, it's very simple. You have to answer the question by creating a paragraph about the factor in the question. So the factor that was in the question was focusing on the role of individual. So if you made a paragraph about the role of individual and how that individual helped improve medicine, boom, you've got 1 to 4 marks. And if you've got decent subject knowledge, there's no reason why you can't be on 4 marks for that. That's a big win, an easy win. But if you're starting there, you might as well move on to go to the level 2. Now, if you've done a really strong paragraph about the role of individual or whatever factor is mentioned in the question, you will get a level 1 4 marks for that paragraph. To get a level 2, you need to do a similar paragraph talking about another factor. To get the level 3, you need a third factor. So you need to be focusing on 3 different factors. So you could have role of individual, role of government, and then you could have science and technology, or maybe even chance to get into level 3. If you do 3 paragraphs, and they're decent paragraphs and structured well, there's no reason why you shouldn't be hitting here, okay? How do you get to level 4? Well, the way to get level 4 is you need to do the 3 paragraphs, possibly a 4th paragraph, so you're going to do 1, 2, 3 factors, or maybe a 4th factor, but throughout your answer, you're trying to link the factors together in the paragraphs. That is really the next level up, showing how there is a consistent relationship between the factors in the development of medicine. And then you finish off with a conclusion. Overall, the most important factor was, and give you reasons why, showing balance in your conclusion. What a wonderful Etch-a-Sketch this is. Peppa Pig. There's only one Peppa Pig. Anyway, so right here I've got basic sentence starters to help you structure your answer so that you're focusing on the question and you are not waffling on. So right here at the top there's a blank space, there's a blank space there, there's a blank space there, and there's a blank space there. So the first part here is your point that you're trying to make. The second part here is your example, and then this bottom bit is you're explaining your example, PEE. Your point is focusing on the factor itself. Okay, now first paragraph has to have the factor in the question. So here you're going to put the role of individual because that was the one that was in the question. So you would say the role of individual can be seen as the main factor in the development of, now this bit is whatever the question is asking you to focus on. So this question is asking you about the development of medicine. So here would go medicine. Keep it simple, guys, don't overdo it. Then your second paragraph is going to be about a second factor. It's the same structure, do it the same way. Don't try and change it, okay? So it could be the role of government can be seen as the main factor in the development of medicine. For example, blah 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 blah. This shows it is the main factor because blah 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 blah. Now, remember what I said. Level 1, 1 to 4 marks. Level 2, 5 to 8 marks. And then level 3, we're going in the 9 to 12 marks. So we're trying to get at least to level 2. Okay, top end of level 2. So that's why you have to do this paragraph twice, but your first paragraph must be the one in the question. It must focus on the factor in the question. Don't make the mistake of not talking about the factor in the question. Then if you're trying to get to level 3, you need to do 3 of these paragraphs plus an evaluation or a conclusion at the end. Overall, the main factor is I think this because. Okay, you can hear Daddy Pig in the background. He's a bit of an expert, like me. Anyway. Role of individual. Edward Jenner. So our role of individual is our factor. Edward Jenner helped improve medicine. How did he do it? By creating the first proper vaccination. And that's where the word vaccination comes from. It comes from the Latin word for smallpox, or called vaccinia, and then he made this vaccination. How did he do it? He used cowpox. So what he did is he noticed that milkmaids were not getting smallpox, so he went and found out that they were actually getting cowpox. So he got some cowpox pus and put it into a small boy. And the small boy got unwell with the cowpox, like he had the flu. He was okay. Then he got some pus from a smallpox spot and put it into the boy, and the boy didn't get unwell. And there he found the first vaccination. However, he couldn't prove how it worked, and he was a doctor from a rural area, and London doctors didn't like him because they thought he wasn't as reputable. So it wasn't actually accepted until 1853. After the government had invested some money into Edward Jenner's research, and it was then made a compulsory vaccination. So how did he improve medicine? He created the first vaccination. Brilliant. Now, we could straight away go and talk about the role of government in making the vaccination compulsory. So you could do a whole paragraph about that too if you wanted. Now, if you did that, the examiner would think, okay, they've got good subject knowledge, but they've used a second factor about the same thing. So you're probably not going to get 8 marks. You probably get about 6 marks. But that's great. So you might as well just cut some corners and try and get yourself 6 marks. Or once you've done that paragraph and then that paragraph, do a third paragraph and push yourself. And who knows, you might actually squeeze into a level 3 because you basically cheated the system, I suppose. Okay, so let's do a second factor, different to the government. Okay, so another factor other than role of individual. Okay, another factor you could talk about other than role of individual and government is science and technology. So science and technology helped to improve medicine for a number of reasons. Basically, it created the microscope, right? Now, what did the microscope do? Well, it was made in the late 1500s and was developed and allowed the scientists to have a look at the microorganisms. Now, that was then used, the microscope was then used to prove that bad air was not causing illness, okay, and that bad air was not causing decay. Now, once they proved that, because of the microscope allowed them to see this, once that was proved, they began to think, hang on a minute, these microorganisms, maybe they're not all the same. Because at first they thought that they were all the same, right? And they began to go through and have a look at them and prove that they were not all the same. And one of those people was Robert Koch. Now, Robert Koch used a microscope to identify bacteria that were causing illness. And he did this with a special dye, okay? Now, if you say all of that in your answer, it's a basic answer. Yes, it is. It's not in super detail. But we're not trying to get lots and lots of detail. We're just trying at the moment to get our structure on point and to get marks down. So we're trying to really be hitting the 9 marks, okay? 9 out of 16 is fantastic. Look here, I've said Robert Koch. I've also mentioned a person, that's an individual. So if you wanted to, if you wanted to cut corners and sort of cheat the system, you could say science and technology, microscope, talk about the microscope, and then your second paragraph could be role of individual and about Robert Koch. And you could say something similar, but mainly focusing on this. Then you probably would get yourself about 6 marks. You wouldn't get more than that because you're not showing that you understand more about the factors, and you're not showing that you have more subject knowledge. Okay, that's a quick win really, and I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to overdo it. I'm Mr. Stewart, you know how I like to do things. I know that video wasn't in lots of detail, but the main thing is focusing on the structure. Get the paragraphs correct and you can add the subject knowledge easily. That's how you get the marks, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like if you can, and remember, I'm a bit of an expert. Peace.